Hey besties, welcome back to the channel. Today we are doing the weekly chronicle, where we chronicle our journey through the books we read, the shows we watch, and the worlds we spiral into. I'm Tabatha.
And I'm Sharilyn. Grab a beverage and let's get booking with the besties.
Okay.
All right, Tabatha, what have we done this week?
So let's just get into the most divisive one possible first. I'm gonna start because I have a more negative feedback, so I think starting with the negative and then we'll go into the positive, okay? I think that makes more sense. So this is Black Tongue Thief. I think the world building is good. The prose is good. I don't like the humor at all. Crass humor is never my thing. I am very hit or miss with humor, but crass humor is just always a no for me. And then sometimes it seemed like we were getting into a scene and then it would stop and then he would just explain what happened. And so it lacked a little bit of a flow that I prefer. So I ended up DNFing this I actually have no idea because I was doing the audiobook, about 2 hours into the audiobook. So I did not like that one.
So I'm having a great time with this one. I'm about halfway through now. And yes, so the humor, it is very brash. It is what I described to Tabatha as a Deadpool style of humor. So if you like Deadpool, you might like the kind of humor that's in here. Neither of us have read The Devils yet, but from what we've gathered from what others have said.
Is it crass?
I don't know.
I don't know if Devils is necessarily, I'm not sure.
No,
I know it's humorous, but.
Yeah. Well, I was just going to say that there's a possibility that this is more in line, or that those fall on like that side of the scale versus, I personally didn't think this was crass.
There were 2 paragraphs describing a wet fart.
I do not remember that.
That is crass.
Okay. Yeah, I don't really remember that, but most of it, so I'm just kind of having fun with it. It does feel like someone just telling you their story over a beer, and so like the moments where he like starts telling it and then tells it a different way, I can see like that would be just kind of like it feels very much like I'm telling you this story rather than this story is being told. Like
but you're enjoying it.
Yeah, I'm having a great time. But yeah, like the first person narrator does like talk to the reader some, and it's like he'll explain something and be like, now mind you, blah blah blah. Like he's very much, it feels like conversational in the way he's like telling the reader the story. So, and
it's well written for what that is as well.
Yeah, and it's somewhere halfway through, and I like the adventure that we're going on. I like all the different characters. Meow! Meow! Meow!
Oh my gosh. Hi!
Homegirl! Meow! You good, fam? So anyway, after the cat interruption, the cast of characters who kind of get pulled together on this adventure, it feels very much like the way a D&D campaign is just like a bunch of randos who got put on the same journey and are figuring out how to get along with each other and also complete some sort of mission, but also everyone has their own different motivation and their own little like side reason for why they're there. And so it feels very like hodgepodge, dysfunctional, and extremely humorous all put together. So I'm having fun.
I'm glad. And now you have a new book. So.
And yeah, now this is mine. Yay me!
So that works out. You want she was like, "Oh, I really want to get that book now." And I was like, "I don't want this book anymore." So perfect.
Sweet. Glad that worked out for me.
Hey, you know what? I never regret reading a book because it teaches you something each time. So
yeah,
it just shows me how much if it's crass humor, I'm just not gonna like it. And I could see because of how good the writing is and because of the world building, which I think is the best that it has to offer. I think if I were to finish it, it would probably be around a 3-star for like respect. But I think my experience is more in like the 2-star range. So no point in continuing that one. But I did start Between Two Fires because I needed to know. It's by the same author. I needed to know if it's him I'm not going to vibe with or whatever, because I've heard really good things from people who have similar taste to me about Between Two Fires. And I'm also about 2 hours into this audiobook, and completely different experience.
Okay.
Yes, there's humor, but it's way more toned down. Like it tries to turn every single line into a quip, which was killing me. But this one has humor, but it's more sprinkled in. Okay, so there's that. It's also a little bit darker in tone, so I'm loving that. It's a medieval horror set in the time of the plague with angels and demons and all that kind of stuff. So
cool.
I'm really excited to see how this goes. It is going very well so far.
I'm very glad.
So
You were really excited about that
I was really excited about that one. I was nervous about that one because I knew it was humorous, and humor doesn't always land for me. Mm-hmm. So I'm not like disappointed. It's kind of it is what it is.
Yep.
But speaking of humor, I read Service Model by Adrian Tchaikovsky.
Yes, you did.
And I have a copy on the way because I loved it. That is a very humorous novel. However, it's a different kind of humor. It's a bit more along the lines of, instead of like Deadpool, it's more along the lines of like Princess Bride or like Monty Python style humor, where it's like, it's goofy, it's still got quips, less quippy, more like punny, things like that throughout. So it's definitely still humorous, but it's more my style of humor. So I loved it. I currently have it as a 4.5, but I may just end up needing to bump it up to a 5-star. I'm not 100% sure. I'll need to sit on it. But I enjoyed every bit of it. We're following a robot who accidentally killed their owner. and trying to figure out what's going on in the world. Where are the humans? What's happening? Why are all the robots malfunctioning? It's a wild adventure. I think you're gonna really, really like it.
Yay!
And yeah, so that's a really good one. I'm glad that was my first Adrian Tchaikovsky because it was really, really enjoyable.
I'm glad. She apparently told me she was reading that, and I completely forgot. So when I saw on her Fable that she was reading it, I was like, how dare you!
And I told her last Saturday, because we film on Saturdays, but I told her last Saturday while we were filming because she was upset with me about Empire of Silence.
The betrayal!
So I did tell her last Saturday.
And I just completely forgot like right away.
But speaking of Empire Silence.
Yes. Speaking of Empire Silence, I read it, the whole thing, this week.
And I'm so she didn't put a rating yet.
I intentionally didn't rate it yet. I finished it last night. I intentionally did not rate it yet. I haven't said anything.
She hasn't said a word. I don't know if she likes it.
For this moment.
I don't know anything. And it bothers me a lot, actually.
So, I have mixed feelings.
Okay.
Yes. So, objectively, I think it's a good book. But the entire time I was reading it, for the life of me, I couldn't stay focused on it.
Oh, interesting.
So I listened to the audiobook, and that's not the problem because I've listened to so many audiobooks and been able to stay engaged the whole time. And so all week when I was listening to it, and like I listened mostly on my drive. So yes, I'm also paying attention to the road and Texas drivers and traffic. But I genuinely could not for the life of me like stay focused on this book.
Was it the character voice?
Oh, I know why.
Okay.
Yes, don't worry, I'm getting there. Yes, let me just get on my soapbox real quick. Yes, no, okay, so I did have to sleep on it. I finished it yesterday. I had to sleep on it because I was like, I don't understand why I couldn't, I would listen, I'd be able to focus for like a little bit and then my mind would just drift. And I would literally be thinking about how I need to be focusing on the book right now. And then it'd keep drifting and then finally come back and then drift again. And it was just a loop. And I was like, why can I not focus on this book? Like, why? Like, what is happening here? And so, I was trying to figure out, I was like, did I have more than usual going on this week? Ish, but not really. Was it the story? No, because I mean, it's still a good story. Was it the writing? No, it's a really good high quality writing. What was it? And it hit me on the drive over this morning that it's the way Hadrian is telling his story. So he is telling his story from after the fact, and you learn that in the very beginning. So everything that has happened, and now he's telling his story. And there so much throughout.
Oh, is this the first book that you've read like that?
I don't think so.
Okay.
No, but this one in particular, so much throughout, he felt detached from his own story. And so I felt detached from his own story. Like, he was very much like here's everything that happened. And he almost didn't feel like he had an emotional investment. And like...
That's interesting, because most people say, he's very melodramatic.
I mean, yes, but I don't think that's...
And he's very emotional, especially towards the beginning.
It's the, like... I don't know how to describe it. Like, I never got emotionally invested in any part of the book. And, like, he didn't feel relatable. I mean, it's fantasy, it's sci-fi, it's set, like, but, like, generally, there's still gonna be relatable elements in your characters. Mm-hmm. Like, no part of him did I feel like ever hooked me.
Yeah.
And so
I just felt... self-insert at all with him.
Yeah, I just felt, like, super detached the entire time. And there were multiple instances that I thought was kind of funny so he's telling his story, and he very much is a character who, in this beginning part of his story, his life, however you want to look at it, he came across to me, we'll see if you agree, he came across to me as someone who thinks he has everything figured out, and thinks he knows how things should go, and then is like upset or confused or something when things play out differently. And that happens so many times, and every single time I was like,
I think that's part of his character flaw.
Yeah, but every single time I was like, well, yeah, bro, what'd you expect? Like, you don't have it all figured out. So there are just so many times when it felt very, very detached, and I was just like looking at it, like, because I'm just at a different point in my life than his character is in his growth, because I definitely used to be that way. I fully own that. I used to be someone who thought I had it all figured out and was like, logically XYZ, and then things would happen differently, and I'd be like, well, that doesn't make any sense. It's like, yeah, because everyone's different. So it's extra strange that I don't feel any attachment to him when I can see a version of my younger self in him. But yeah, I don't know. It just, the whole time, I couldn't get emotionally invested. And, like, there's a lot of cool stuff that happened. There's a lot of great universe building. There are... I see what you mean about the other characters just being kind of there.
Yeah, they're there to support his journey, and that's mostly it.
But yeah, so this one, I understand now. Hi, Misa. I understand now why everyone says... Well, I mean, I don't fully understand because I haven't read the rest yet. But everyone says this is the weakest of the series. Mm-hmm. And assuming it goes up from here, I can see why. But yeah, if I didn't have everyone encouraging me to continue the series, if everyone wasn't singing its praises, I genuinely don't think I would keep reading the series.
I mean, sometimes
this experience.
Sometimes a series just doesn't work for you too, and that's okay.
Yeah.
So if you dip out after book 2, because like so many people love book 2. So if you dip out after that, like, it is what it is.
Then we'll really know. But I do think it is, like you said, part of his character.
Yeah.
That we'll see growth and change. And
I know at least sometimes you don't necessarily love an unlikable character. Like with Wuthering Heights, you didn't love them as characters.
I more so with Wuthering Heights. My beef with that book is that everyone that I've ever seen, which is, a limited perspective, but so many people play that up to be some great love story, and it's not. Like, I was misled on that one. And so, but yes, also those characters were absolutely terrible, and I did throw the book across the room. But I don't want to say I don't like a dislikable character. I just don't know, just haven't experienced one I like yet.
Yeah. Yeah, because he's, like, unlikable in certain ways. I still find him very endearing, Hadrian in Empire of Silence. I still find him very endearing because, like, yeah, he's melodramatic as fuck. Yeah, he talks a lot about his dad and his brother, and I think it goes into perspectives and, like, how his perspective is so narrow. And I think overall, throughout the books, we're going to see more. Yeah. So, like, this one, we branch out into Crispin's perspective. I finished this week, by the way. Based on your experience with that, I would say maybe wait on this one since you're not super excited to read the novella anyway. But this does show you like how Crispin's point of view is different than Hadrian's, and how Hadrian isn't always right, even though he might think he is, because we all always think we're gonna be right. That's kind of like a human nature thing to think that you're the right one.
Yeah.
So yeah. But this one was very good. It's not as good as book 1, so, like, That's why I'm like, I don't know.
Okay.
Maybe see, like, if you like Howling Dark, because we're going to read this next week, by the way. This is preview. But if you end up liking that, maybe go back and read this one, because it's not, I don't know if it's vital or not. It's got some good details in here. I would assume it being a novella in the series, usually those aren't vital, but I had a really good time with it anyway.
Yeah, I go back and forth on how I feel about novellas in general within series, because it is just kind of like bonus content, essentially. And so in this case, there's a possibility that it actually takes me out.
Yeah.
And then, but in other cases, we've read really good novellas that are like even better than what's actually going on in the main series.
It's not like that. It's a good bonus content. So I would say maybe wait.
Okay.
I was gonna push you to read this, but after hearing your thoughts, maybe hold off.
Yeah.
And see if you like book 2 first. And then be weirdo, and then if you like book 2, then go back and read this.
Yeah, it's like, and I really wanted to like it too. But it's like, I respect it, but I will need to see how does the character grow and evolve in. So we'll read book 2 next, which is so big. But we'll read it next. And then depending on how that goes.
And then you can make your decision.
But I mean, there were aspects though of the story and the adventure and the world universe building and I mean, a lot of what happens in the latter half of this book, or latter third or fourth, I don't know. There's a lot that happens in here that I was like, this is so good. This is really interesting. I do want to see where it goes. I do want to see what happens. And the dilemmas that he continues to face.
Yes.
I do want to see more of that. And so I think it did start to bring me back toward the end there with those situations. But for the bulk of the book, I just felt kind of like,
and I think outside of fantasy romance, I don't think you've read a lot of long series. So a lot of times they'll start with the character, especially like with this long of a series, it'll be it's a very much a starting place, and then he'll grow. So you can see.
That's a good point. Is that most of what I've read is like trilogies or something, and this is ongoing. And how many books?
It's gonna be 7.
It's gonna be 7 books. So that's fair. Okay, that's a good point. But yes, I mean, I will definitely.
It's something to get used to, at least. Like when you have a shorter series, a lot of times the characters will feel a little bit more full in book 1 because they have to. They don't have as much time. But with these, they're very much in their starting place, so you can witness them on their journey of growth. Like, not comparing this to Farseer trilogy because that's a trilogy, but it's still in a larger scope of a large series. But even that one, he's still like very much starting in his journey on that one as well.
That's right, I forgot you're reading Farseer.
I haven't made any progress this week, so that's not
rip.
Because it's my nighttime read, but I haven't been able to do that because I've just gone to bed and crashed. So
fair, dude, it'd be like that.
Okay, so
all right, what else? This is a maybe.
I would hold off based on your other feedback. Okay, so more on the slightly boring side for you guys, but I finished 7 drafts.
Oh yay!
So this is very, very good. Very good as far as like a nice little checklist resource for editing. I think this is going to be really interesting and like self-revision. This is not me announcing that I'm like publishing a book ever. I'm having fun, okay? I'm playing around and I'm learning some stuff. Nothing is happening, but I did read this and it was really good. It helped ease my mind a little bit because we have like, as humans, we have like such a perfectionism sometimes that we want to do things right the first time, and this kind of eases the mind and goes, it's not going to be good the first time. You have to edit. You have to do multiple drafts. You have to look at your characters, you have to look at your plot, you have to look at these fine details sentence by sentence, and then you will have something more polished. And so I like that mindset of like, you can grow. So that was very good.
I love that you just keep handing everything to me.
Well, because you have the couch space over there and I don't really have
that's fair
space.
Like, all right, this is mine now. I do need to read it though at some point as well.
Yeah, I think you'll get a lot out of it.
Yeah.
There are things you already know, like you'll laugh at some of the grammar stuff.
I love the cat chewed corner down here.
The cat did chew that corner.
Yep, I was actually, a project I was working on at work this week went through multiple drafts, and I kept thinking of this book and how how interesting it would be, because I do write for work, but not anything, fun. Don't tell my boss. But that I haven't like gone into learning more about writing since I was in school. So it would be interesting to see how this kind of stuff would apply for my work projects as well as for personal projects, and see kind of where the crossover is and where things delineate what you got there.
Well, this is one I was gonna save it till towards the end because it's more of an in progress. I'm barely started. I'm on like literally page 22, but this is another writing one. This is one I bought because I saw it in like when I bought this one and that one actually, because I was looking up like good writing craft books, and this is one that popped up. I also got it recently confirmed. Jake from Nerd Level Rising, we'll link that video below, interviewed Janny Wirtz, and this was one of the books that she recommended.
Oh, sweet.
So I was like, okay, top of the TBR. So started reading this as my next nonfiction. I'm only 22 pages in so far, so there's not much has happened, but it's really interesting. It's talking about how feelings should drive your writing, more than necessarily structure. I've read a lot of like structure style books.
Yeah, you have. You're like, what is the check mark? Like you said, the checklist.
Yes. Yeah. I've read a lot of books that emphasize structure a whole lot because I like seeing the different perspectives on that. And I think it's fascinating how people can have very different but similar approaches to writing. And so this one is talking about, at least so far, it's talking about feelings and letting like your core humanity and what is in your heart drive your book. And I think that aligns a little bit more because that I've gotten bogged down. I've gotten so bogged down by structure. I'm like so afraid of like all of that. So I think that this is working itself up to be a really, really good experience. I will let you know. And I'll let you guys know. But I mean, Janny says it, and if Janny says it,
then it's
so I say
law.
not having read her book yet, but we will read her books.
We've heard, some of the highest praise.
Yes. So we'll definitely be continuing this. This will be I'm going to save this for the last section
as well.
Next section.
So what else did you read this week?
Do you have anything else before we continue my journey?
Only the things that I said I would do last week and I didn't do.
Okay. Do you want to just throw those up for a second? Or...
Yeah, so Drowned Country I have not touched since I'm at a good stopping point. It was like I ended part 1 and this is part 2, and I just haven't felt like getting back to it. But I think I'm just gonna save it for when I need a kind of whimsical breath of fresh air, because that's very much how it feels. It just it's a good
Is it like dark whimsy? Because it looks like dark whimsy.
It does look dark, I guess. I feel like I'm the wrong person to ask on what's considered like. I mean, yeah, it's darker. It's not like light and happy, and it's definitely these colors. So yeah, I'd say so. But it doesn't feel despairing by any means. Yeah. It's just kind of a darker. I don't know.
Probably.
Yeah. Sure. Maybe. Yeah. So I didn't touch that, and I think I'll just save it for when I want to come back to it. And then I also did not touch Malice. So sorry.
Should we?
I was a little preoccupied.
Okay, that's fair.
Okay. Yeah.
But I need you to finish that.
I know you do. You've been saying that for months. I'm a failure. No, I mean, I do want to. I do really want to read it.
Here's the thing: we can't make our top 10 fantasy series list until you read that.
And, another 5 series so that I can list 10 at all.
Okay, well, our first list will be a blend of sci-fi and fantasy.
This is fair.
So that works out.
Even so, I don't think... Anyway.
You've got 10. Don't worry. I know you have 10.
I always underestimate the number of books I have at my disposal.
Yeah.
But anyway, no, I do really, really, really want to read this, and I was just a little preoccupied. And then a little more preoccupied. So, it's coming. I don't want to commit to it. Okay, here's what we're gonna do. We're not gonna commit to it so that it actually happens. Moving on.
Mood.
One last book. It was. Oh no, you know about this one. Okay. Cold Silver for Souls.
Oh yes.
I ended up deciding to DNF. Just because because I got distracted by Empire of Silence. That's now under a pile of books. Here we go. once again, preoccupied. And then it's just such a different vibe that it, I just wasn't like invested as much anymore. So I went ahead and put that back on the proverbial shelf.
Sweet.
So that's
I have a few.
mine
I have 2 more that I've finished. So I have. Oh, let's see if that one.
That's why I didn't recognize it on your Goodreads. I was like,
yeah.
What is that?
Well,
and what was that?
Since you pointed that one out,
Well, you don't
staircase in the woods. I wasn't gonna be the person to show like how pretty it is, but it's so pretty. Okay. I for some fucking reason, I think it's because they're like kids on this dust jacket. For some reason, and I also never read blurbs. For some reason, I got it in my head that this was gonna be like a YA thriller or YA horror. Oh, this is not. Oh, this is adult. Oh, and it's fantastic. I was so surprised. There were so many good twists and turns in this and I had such a fun time. I will say, if you are a person who doesn't like social commentary in your books, then you are not gonna like this book. This is not gonna vibe for you. It very much vibed for me. And I loved the author's note where he mentions that, staircases, like there are staircases in the woods sometimes. Like you'll go and like, because the house will end up decaying faster than the staircase. Yeah. So sometimes there are just like staircases in the woods.
Oh, that's creepy.
So that helped inspire this. I'm not going to tell you much because I think horror and thrillers are best to go in pretty blind. But essentially, this is like a 2 timeline situation where we've got the younger people, and then we've got them as they were older, much like It, if you're familiar with that. And when they were younger, the kids found a staircase in the woods, and one of them went up the staircase and then disappeared. And so many years later, they reunite. Okay, that is all I will say. And they do decide to go up a staircase, and that's all I will say.
Okay.
And the journey starts from there, and it is magnificent. I had such a fun time with this. It felt, I can't even say that because I can't say that. So I can't even say what it felt like, but it was very good.
Dang, dude.
I think it's best to go in blind. I don't know. You haven't read so many horror, so I don't know.
I'm curious because
I feel like
the way you've.
I feel like it would be a good starting one for you. It's very well written. It does have things in it, but it's also like it borderlines on ridiculous at times to where I think that it takes out some of the like horror of the horror. So I don't know. I feel like you could have a decent time with it. Maybe don't read the blurb.
It's literally what you just said.
Okay, cool.
It actually happens to be just the amount of information you just gave.
Oh, that's perfect.
Yeah, so good job.
I didn't even read the blurbs.
That's so funny, and that's exactly what you said.
But I saw on, I don't remember which channel, I saw recently that someone was mentioning The Orchard by him. So I want to check that out next, because this writing, this storytelling, my gosh, this story was so creative and I loved it. Oh, does it have a little, oh yeah.
Yeah, I would be, I'm curious because
I recognize things.
all of the Easter eggs on the naked hardcover. I'm curious because I've seen his name come up a little bit recently, so I'd be interested to read something of his.
I think that this would be a good one to start with. Okay. I don't know. I haven't read any of his other books, but I think
you started with it and had a good time.
I had a fantastic time.
And since we're such similar readers.
Yeah. in the most divisive episode I think we've ever had, actually.
Yeah, I'm like, I loved this. I hated it. I had an okay time. It's actually really good.
We are house divided in this one.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I think this might be a good, yeah.
I'd be willing to give it a shot. And then if it doesn't work out, so be it. Yeah. But I would be interested. Also, I just haven't read a whole lot of horror, and it's like your favorite genre.
It is. I love horror and fantasy, and they can blend.
So I'd be curious.
Yeah.
And
this is definitely on the like horror with fantastical elements for sure.
Okay. Well, maybe I'll give that a go at some point in the nearish future.
Dang, I can't say that either. There's so many things. I need you to know.
Okay, maybe I'll read it just so you can talk about it.
Yeah.
I'm willing to do that.
Please, because there's things that I want to say and books and things that I want to compare it to, but I think it was such a good experience to go into it blind, so I can't do it. But like, so please, for my peace of mind, for my sanity,
I'll read it so you can talk about it.
Watch, it's gonna be a house divided one again too. You're gonna be like 1 star.
House divided. Anyway, can you imagine if I just came out of it and was like, nah, fam, this ain't it.
But there are things that
it's possible.
I saw some reviews online, and people were like, "Oh, there's like a lot of gore and violence," and I'm like, "It is horror, so like,
what do you expect?"
That is a given.
Yeah.
So lots of trigger warnings, I will say. And then the other reviews that I saw that were negative were talking about like the politics and stuff, which is also fair enough if that's not your deal. Okay, so last book I read was The Floating World, so complete opposite end of the spectrum. This actually was YA, and this was a YA fantasy romance, and it was delightful. Yay! I love her writing in general.
That's
so true. I loved The Girl Who Fell Beneath the Sea. I really liked XOXO, so I like her. She has a very whimsical nature to her, but more on the lighter side of whimsical. This also had so many elements from Final Fantasy VII, specifically, that I was chuckling every time something like that would happen. So like, for example, at the very beginning, the mercenary who used to be a soldier, Final Fantasy VII, who has a red scarf, by the way, also Final Fantasy VII, had to blow up something with a bomb. Final Fantasy VII also has that. And they had 30 minutes to leave. Like, there are just so many elements. So many elements. Story-wise, it also has some elements of Final Fantasy VII, but it does also go into its own area as well. It has its own thing. So it's not one for one Final Fantasy VII, but I was listing some elements to my husband because he and I have played Final Fantasy VII. And he was like, wait, is this book just like literally Final Fantasy VII? And because like there's instead of them going to a bar to get their missions, they're going to a tea house. There is a Sector 7. I don't know. Have you played Final Fantasy?
No, but I'm laughing at how it could be a drinking game to just take a shot every time you say Final Fantasy VII. Okay, that's because fair. You've said it like 24 times in like 2 minutes. And I'm just so this is really funny for me.
Okay, FF7. There's even like a lab situation, and she's got like the main girl has some powers, and some people are coming after her. There's a lot of elements.
Final Fantasy VII?
For Final Fantasy. Which the author makes it very clear. Even in the Goodreads blurb thing, it mentions Final Fantasy. It doesn't say specifically which one.
Yeah.
But man.
If you know, you know.
If you
clearly.
And I'm sure there were some that I missed, but I kid you not, there are probably like at least like 20 references in here.
That's cool.
Which is hit or miss, you know, because sometimes it can be like, okay,
I can feel a little too derived.
But I think in this one,
more of an homage.
Yes, I think it's more of a love letter. It's a love letter to that, but yeah, it's combined with other elements too to make to where it's definitely not one for one. There's just so many little nuggets in there that I had such a fun time finding. If you don't like YA romance, you're probably not gonna like it. Okay, there are definitely some YA romance isms in there. They're very, very sweet. It's a very sweet romance. It's a very sweet little love story. So if you're only into the dark, broody 6'4" with wings, it's probably not gonna be your vibe. Yeah. But yeah, it's very sweet. It's such a fun time, and it doesn't feel like the writing quality. She writes a lot of YA, but it doesn't have like a more
cement mixer. It's like, it sounds like a garbage truck, but it's Saturday. Like, it's a cement mixer. It's Saturday! Okay. Where did you come from?
Where did you come from?
Anyway.
Yes, very good book.
I'm glad.
Yeah. I don't know if you would like it.
Yeah. Sweet. Yay!
That was the last book I have finished. Okay. Alright, so I'm a fucking dumbass bitch.
Not quite the start I meant to go with, but sure, let's roll.
I forgot to include a book because I finished it literally last night. I read it literally yesterday. And so I forgot to include it in the pile because I was looking for it and then I got distracted. I read one of Sharilyn's favorite books, Pure Nasty.
Okay, I think we need to stop calling it one of my favorite books.
Oh, is it not?
It's a good book that I read a long time ago.
Okay.
But I've never actually called it, I don't think I've ever actually called it my favorite. I just think I regard it well.
Okay.
I would have to reread it to determine whether it's a favorite.
Okay,
it's been
that's
a while.
fair. That's fair. Well, you've never stopped me from saying it before either, so.
Well, yeah, because we was on camera and I didn't want to be like, hey, bitch, shut the fuck up. But here we are.
Cool. So not one of Sharon's favorites. Okay. Okay.
Not that I hate it. I just
she fucking hates it.
It's been a long time. I have the audiobook and I meant to read it when you read it to like buddy read it and refresh, but clearly that didn't happen. So, but yes. Anyway, tell us your thoughts.
It's a very good book. It's actually a masterpiece.
Exactly.
So I would have respected it if it was your favorite book, but
it's
apparently
just been so long since I read it. So I feel like I was anyway, lots of reasons, but I would need to reread it to determine for sure where it lies.
I think the writing is gorgeous. The themes are magnificent. And I think there's a really good reason why people don't give you too many details. Like anytime I've heard people talking about this book, they don't give you too many details. I did call, I want to say this right now. I called a lot. And when I was like about 2 hours in, I was like, should I pause and then maybe do this over 2 weeks? But then I just continued. But I was
2 weeks to read it?
Like read it then and then like finish something else and then come back to it next week.
Oh, gotcha. I was like, you mean read it over a 2 week span?
Yeah.
I thought that's what you meant.
No.
I was like, why would you do that?
No, but then I was just like I was too curious if I was right about certain things, and there were certain things that I was correct on. So
can't wait to find out.
I feel pretty good about that.
Camera.
Yeah. But yeah, this was fantastic. Her writing is magnificent. I can absolutely see this being a book that's regarded as a classic in the future. It's definitely got a modern classic feeling, and yeah, this is amazing.
Sweet. Well, back to your regularly scheduled programming. Yeah, I think that's all. Those are all the books I touched or didn't touch, but was maybe going to.
This is what I have for next week.
This is about all I can say for next week.
Sweet.
I'm not going to commit to anything else because that might make it happen.
Yeah.
See where I'm at here. Reverse psychology, my TBR.
I'm so excited though.
I am intrigued. Yeah.
And it'll be good to know, because if you don't like this one, I mean, let us know if you finish the series. But from what I've heard, if you don't like this one, you're probably just not going to vibe with the series.
Okay. Yeah.
But let us know.
Like it. I do want to like it.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing, is like you want to like the things that
everyone's
you're not
shouting about from the mountaintops.
Yeah.
But yeah, it'd be interesting to be in the quieter camp of not liking it. Anyway, find out next week.
Yeah, but in the meantime,
week's episode. No, I'm just kidding.
In the meantime, what did
tries to sign off.
Yeah, no.
like stop more.
Stop. We have what we watched.
No, it's over.
And I have things to add.
All right, what did you watch this week?
Nothing.
Cool. I kept watching Black Clover. What?
I played a game.
You just said nothing.
But I played a game.
Well, I thought games would come after watching. I don't know.
Okay.
Do we have a structure? You're the one who likes structure.
It's what we watched / any other media.
Oh, okay. Okay. What did you watch this week?
Nothing. But I did download and play Expedition 33 on my own. I didn't finish it, obviously. It's way too long to finish that by myself.
What do you mean you downloaded it on your own? You already have it. How do games work?
Well, I put on my thing. Okay.
Were y'all doing like a multiplayer on?
So, well, I downloaded it on my Steam Deck, and it actually didn't work out. So it's on the different computers for one thing. But also, I didn't download it because I thought it was online. It was on a shirt. You still download games that are online.
Okay, cool.
They're too big to stream like a video or anything.
Oh,
generally,
gotcha.
Because they're so big, if you were to try to stream, because there are certain things that have tried that before, it's chunky.
I guess, yeah, I don't know I guess because most of my experience is with like handheld, so it's in a cartridge. I actually haven't done a whole lot on the computer since I was a wee child.
Even on the handheld, like the Switch, you can download games.
I don't know how games work.
Okay.
I just don't. I just didn't.
Either way, that's moot because it was already downloaded, so that was a lie.
Anyway, so you have the game now.
I have the game
still,
and I have it on my Steam profile, so I'm able to play it. I finished. All I will say is that I've unlocked swimming at whatever cost that was. And that is all I will say.
You have to kill people for it? Okay, what could this
I
be?
unlocked swimming. I need you to play this game because
What
the
did
story...
Did you make a deal with the devil? Did you sacrifice part of yourself? Anyway, I know nothing and I'm just having fun.
Here's the thing. I'm playing on story mode. It's easy. It's literally easy mode. It's literally like baby's first game mode. And it's fantastic because you're just going through the story and it's fantastic. So you can do this.
I don't think I can't do it.
You can do it.
I just don't think I have time.
You should.
I read a book this week. You want me to add video games? I got a puppy.
One. I want you to add one. Just one.
If I add a video game, I think Jose needs to pick it.
That's fair.
I can't be like, so this is happening. To be like, yeah. Anyway, because we do have the Switch too. So if anything, I think we'd play on that.
Yeah.
So,
which is not on that. So.
Yeah, I know.
All right.
So,
what about you?
I watched some more Black Clover this week. It's in a chunk. So when they did the anime, they were pretty much trying to keep up with the manga as it was coming out. So it's at a point where they had to throw in some filler because they got too close up to the manga. So it's a weird spot. We're getting like
skip filler
side quest and background. Well, because we're still watching it right now. We haven't skipped any of it. But because Jose knows what parts of it are filler and what's not. He's watched it before, he's read it, he knows all the stuff. I'm just along for the ride. So if we wanted to just skip the filler, I don't have that knowledge of where to skip to. I also don't know if there are pieces, like canon pieces in, like it tucked in.
Yeah.
Like with Naruto. I know that there are episodes that have a mix of filler and canon, and then there are episodes that are only filler, and you can skip all of those.
Yes.
And then watch the last episode, and then get into Shippuden. So I may or may not have done it. And then dropped off completely, and I haven't touched that one since. But anyway, back to Black Clover. It's fine, it's popping off. But yeah, we're in filler. And so I need it to ramp back up. I need it to get back on the plot so I can be invested again. Because it is just a bunch of like side quest, side stories, background. Like we can do without all of that. So maybe I'll just see if we want to skip through it.
Because when we were watching Naruto before, Scott was like, let's skip this filler, and I was like, but I want to watch it. And then we watched like one episode, and I was like, okay, I'm good, never mind, you're right. Let's just get out of that.
And filler cracks me up too because you can tell with the art. Yeah. When it's filler. It's like, what's wrong with his face? It's like, that doesn't even look like them. What's going on? Like, it's so funny sometimes when you can like differentiate, like, this is true, this is filler. And it's just like, what? And they just had the intern do that. Okay. But yeah, so I think I did the same thing with Naruto. I was like, no, I want to see. No, I don't. No, I don't. Never mind. No, I changed my mind. Take it back. Right. Yeah. So I don't think I watched anything else this week. I definitely didn't play any video games because I don't even know how they work apparently. So that's awkward. But yeah.
All right. Well, that's everything we read, what we're planning on reading, and what we watched/played. Let us know what you guys have read, watched, or what you're planning on reading. And if you're not feeling chatty, leave us a division symbol because we are house divided on 2 books.
All right, friends. Well, that's all for now, but the tale continues next week. Until then, read bravely, binge boldly, and don't forget your brew. Cheers, besties. Cheers.